Welcome to the Michael Savage channels. If you like the vibe, you must subscribe. That's not the title. That's an attempt to get you to subscribe because what I'm about to read to you is kind of dark and depressing. It's about depression. But I felt that if I had led this presentation, for want of a better word, with the actual title, which would be Depression. I've been depressed since the transmaniac slaughtered those innocent Catholic children, you wouldn't listen to this. But I've been depressed since the transmaniac slaughtered those innocent Catholic children. I knew I was affected by it when I saw the story, but I didn't know how deeply I had been affected by the killing of those innocent children. You know, if you're in the news business, and it seems to me everyone's in the news business today, it has an effect on you. It's not like, oh, there's another story. Now let's move on. Let's click to the next story. When I saw the faces of the parents who were wrecked by that transmaniac bastard who should have been dragged apart by four horses, four cars should have put to his corpse and ripped apart, chains. They should have torn him in four pieces and thrown the pieces to the wolves to send the message to the next transmaniac who wants to kill a child and then say, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, I'm so hurt by our society. Fuck you, you sick bastards, you. And the doctors are worse and the drug companies are worse yet, I thought to myself as I saw that. Pardon me for exploding, but I have to explode my way out of this depression that I'm in over the death of those poor children. The parents will never be the same. The children in that school will never be the same. Those who were not even shot by that transmaniac bastard from hell, they will never be the same. They're destroyed for life. They will never trust another second of their existence, not knowing if a transmaniac might burst in and kill them. And what did the vermin on the left and the vermin in the state say? What did the vermin politicians say? They had sympathy for the devil. They had sympathy for the transmaniac. They said, how dare you mention that he was a trans? No one mentioned the drugs except me and a few other people who know that it's the drugs that they're putting in the minds of these already marginal people that are making them crazy. It's not the act of dressing up as a woman or as a man if you're the other sex. It's the drugs that warp and destroy the soul itself. So I couldn't cope with it. I didn't know how to deal with this. So what I did was, I've been walking around in a stupor, a fog. What did Churchill call them? The dark horses or something. And yesterday, I decided to write the next chapter in this ongoing novella that I've been writing called Roses. Now, I've given roses here on YouTube and all the other places. I think I don't know where it is. I think I gave it away for free on. It's an ongoing novel about a character called Ziggy. Actually, I think his name changed along the way. But I stopped writing it. I put it down. I don't have it in front of me. It's on Kindle as well, I think. I don't know where it is. But that's not the point of this particular presentation. It's what effect the news has had on me. And I have a tendency towards depression. I have since childhood because of a childhood trauma of having a brother in the house who was born, I don't know how to put it, handicapped, brain damaged, unable to walk, unable to talk. It was a horror show. And I learned to communicate by communicating with my silent brother. So it left its deep impressions upon me about the tragedies of human life and what could happen to a person in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye. Keharif ayin. In the blink of an eye. Keharif ayin. But the first part of that is God's will. Yeshua Hashem. God's will, Keharif ayin, can change your life in the blink of an eye. Why it's good to have faith in God and to pray to God that he keeps you healthy and safe. It sounds childish, doesn't it? Believing in this invisible figure in the sky. I get it all the time on the internet. How can I believe in this fantasy in the sky? I don't believe in any of that. Well, that's your problem, not mine. Do you think everyone who believes in this invisible God is a fool? Do you think that everyone who believes in this invisible God who you cannot see, touch, or negotiate with is insane? Some of you do. And you've thrown your heart and soul and mind into what? What do you believe in? You believe in yourself. You believe in yourself. Well, get back to me when something breaks inside of you. Yes, it will. You may be a V12 racing Mercedes at Le Mans, but that engine will wear out. Pieces will break. The timing chain will snap. A valve will clog up. Then get back to me about whether you believe in this invisible guy in the sky. This eye in the sky is always there. Whether you want to believe it or not is irrelevant. I'm not trying to convert you or sell you on that. A lot of the problems that we're having in America and the world today is precisely because we have no faith in anyone but our own ego. Everyone's a Kardashian. The whole world has been poisoned by that sick, verminous family. They were the first symptoms of this disease. Not the only symptoms, but the biggest symptoms. They came along, they were the devils themselves. Everyone's a star behind their bars. Nice phrase. Everyone's a star behind their bars. Look at how many bars you have on your phone. So you could be a star. Walk around, turn it on, and there you are. Director, writer, producer, actor. Give yourself an Academy Award because you're a star behind your bars. No one needs an agent. We all are our own stars, our own agent, our own producer, our own director, our own writer. We all live in our own world now with this little thing that was given to us. It could be used for good, it could be used for evil. Everyone's a star behind their bars. So I've been fighting depression, or when I say fighting depression, I've been tending towards depression since childhood. And I have learned to cope with it without drugs, without medication. That is what drove me into the vitamin world. Vitamins, exercise, you name it, herbal medicine. I was always looking for the natural methodologies to lift the spirit, so to speak, to get out of the dark horses. We all know exercise works, but how do you get the motivation to exercise when you're totally depressed? We know that zinc and vitamin C have tremendous mood boosting capacities. But how much to take and what form do we take it in? Well, I'm an expert on it. I've avoided antidepressants all my life because I believe that antidepressants are basically my determination of antidepressants is that they suppress the conscience more than anything else. That's right. They suppress the conscience, which is why we have so many egomaniacal, insane people running around on the planet right now, from the highest of offices to the lowest of offices, from the homeless to Congress. We have people without conscience running this world right now. Oh boy, do we have people without a conscience. The next I said, I got to get out of this place I'm in. I've been in this dark well, the well of loneliness before, and you don't think you're ever going to come out of it. So you run, you take your vitamin C, do this, you do that, you pray to God. Some of it works, some works all the time, some of it works time, some of it doesn't work any of the time. Well, I hit a point last week after the killing of these Catholic children by this trans bastard maniac, vermin from hell, the devil himself. Couldn't have done worse. While the children were praying inside, he shot through the stained glass windows and killed some and maimed the others for life, and then shot himself. He wouldn't even let society take the pleasure of offering punishment to this piece of human trash. So it affected me deeply because I thought of my brother. I thought of my own life. I thought of children. I thought of those Catholic parents who sacrificed so much to send children to that school to give them a chance in life. And look what this piece of shit did to them so abruptly out of nowhere. And of course, the politicians like Tampon Tim Walz took sympathy for the devil. They said, don't you dare mention the fact that he was trans. That had nothing to do with it. It was the guns. Well, it wasn't the gun. Millions of people with guns who don't kill children or kill anyone else. It wasn't the guns, Tim. It was people like you, Tim Walz, who killed those children by offering surgical treatment to children to alter their sexuality. A human brain is not fully developed till a person's about 25, and you want children to decide that they are not the right sex? You've fallen in with the psychopaths who've been brainwashing our children, pieces of garbage. You belong in a mental hospital, Tim Walz. You look crazy. From the minute I saw that Tim Walz, I knew he was a lunatic, a madman. And the things he's been saying. So it affected me deeply. And so therefore, last night, I sat down and I said, maybe I can write my way out of this hole I'm in. I didn't even know why I was in the hole. Something was wrong. I couldn't climb out of it. I almost was going to go on this channel today or Monday and tell you I'm resigning from the media. I'm not looking for sympathy, but it's time for me to say goodbye. I didn't want to work anymore. I didn't want to talk on YouTube or on wherever you were catching me, X. I wanted to give up my podcasts. I wanted to give up my TV show on Newsmax TV. I said, it's enough already. I can't do it anymore. But then last night, in the darkness of the darkness, I was sitting outside somewhere, not in the house, of course. The worst place to be when you're depressed is your house. To be, but the worst place. I decided maybe, just maybe, I can write again. If I could just write my way out of this, maybe I can come out of this darkness of the killing of these children, the psychopaths in high places, the drug companies, the sick doctors. So I wrote this for you, and I gave you a clever title. If you like the vibe, please do subscribe. And that means subscribe to my channels so that we hit 100,000 and more people hear what I have to say, because I think it has some value to some. Not all. Not the mass audience. Not the Kardashian crowd. Not those interested in abs. Not those interested in the latest fad in foods that's going to save them. No. Maybe those of you who think, the thinking person, who may not agree with me politically sometimes you do, but there's something about me that draws you to listen to me. I have a friend, a very famous friend who you'll never hear about. He's actually a genius filmmaker who I've lost touch with. I don't know how I reconnected with him in this darkness this week. I don't know. I reached out to him, I think. He actually was the first to use computer animation to create Tyrannosaurus Rex, T-Rex for George Lucas. He was the one who created the use of computer animation in movies, and he never got the Academy Award. Vermin took the credit for it within the Lucasfilm organization and got the Academy Awards. They stole his glory when he was the one who invented this. Former sniper, by the way. former SAS, Strategic Air Services in Britain, rides Harleys, smokes cigars, tough guy, sensitive, like myself, to the world, lives in his own world. Wonderful man, reconnected with him. I'm going to do an interview with him next week. The name is Steve Williams, wonderful guy. So I connected up with him, and we started to talk on the phone. I had to reach out to him. I don't know why I connected up with him. Then I watched his a video he sent me about his life. I had not even known it was done. It was so good. And I realized the hell he's been through. Wow. And it's so revealing about this man. He said, Michael, it's pretty dark. I mean, it starts out with him, this creative guy and this tough guy on the motorcycles. And he's really a mathematical, computer genius. He becomes an alcoholic in this show of his life. And then he gives up alcohol and he leaves California and he moves to the Ozarks to be with real people. I forget the name of it. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of his. I'm going to give it to you now. I think I should. I just should. I mentioned you're going to say, well, how can I watch it? I think I know what I did with it. I don't even know what I did with it. Where is it? I'm going to find the name of his video, which I highly recommend. He's going to be on my podcast next week. Here it's coming up now. Oh, my goodness. Where is this? Come on, Michael. Labor Day Blues. I blew it. It's not in here. I don't know what the hell I did with it. Here, it's right here. Something about it's coming up now. Jurassic Punk. Jurassic Punk. It's on YouTube. Steve Williams' digital dinosaurs of Jurassic Park transformed Hollywood, but an appetite for something denied him what he was deserved. I don't know. Steve's a great guy. You met him, you wouldn't know he's this creative. You would have a stereotype of him. Oh, he's a redneck gun owner. Yeah. And he was a sniper also in the British equivalent of the Navy SEALs, the SAS. And he sent me a picture last night of himself when he was a young kid in going into that world. I really didn't know that much about him. I don't know if I can find it now. I'm a little somewhere else right now. I'll find it for you. So he sends me a picture, he does, of himself. And he says, see if you can pick me out of this group photo of this rugby team. 1980 March, Rotherham, Yorkshire, rugby during SAS training. See if you can find the old sod. So he sends me this weird picture of these tough kids. Where are they now in England? What happened to the rugby thugs? Because I once said only the rugby thugs can save England. Oh, was I right? This is the flower of England here. This type. And now they've been suppressed by the crazy, psychopathic, drug-using homomaniacs of England who have taken up with the Islamists to destroy the flower of England. So I wrote this, you see, as a result of all that, and I'm going to read it to you now, and if you like the vibe, do subscribe. So remember, this is the next chapter in the novella Roses. And Ziggy. It's the story about Ziggy. I don't know where we left off, but the next chapter begins like this. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ziggy was in another black hole. He had been here before. This was not quite as deep as some of the other holes he had found himself in his life. Some of them were so deep he didn't know how to get out. There were no ropes coming down into the chamber. There were no steps up the side of the walls. He thought he had been there. He would be there forever. But somehow and in some way, Ziggy always escaped these blacknesses, these darknesses. This time it was not as deep, but it was just as dark, if not darker. He saw no light at the end of the tunnel. He saw no light at the top of the well. The walls and he were one. They were smooth. There was nothing to grip onto. He thought that he could start again by sculpting again. He looked at his hands, which a Native American had told him once when he was 18, in a bar with sawdust on the floor, in the East Village, in the West Village, in some village. The Indian had said to him, show me your hands and I'll tell you your fate. And he said, you could be a sculptor maybe. or a surgeon perhaps. He looked at his fingers, sort of getting the clay again, but he had thrown all of that away. He threw the clay in the garbage can. And he thought how it felt when he was shaping the clay and making more of those figures. And then he decided there was no point to it. The geologics of time, the geologics of his life overwhelmed him. He realized that nothing had meaning. He realized there was no meaning in any of this. He realized there was no meaning in sculpting and making sculptures and writing and talking and making love. It made no difference. And so even the ancient Greek statues that still existed, or the ancient Roman statues that still existed, which were worth fortunes, what meaning did they have? What meaning did these statues have in geological time? And it struck him that if you look at time and geological time, there's no point in even getting up in the morning if what you're looking at. So therefore, where is the meaning in life? It's not in the creating of something. It's not in the painting. It's not in the speaking. It's not in the sculpting. What is it in then? It's in the doing of what? Ziggy thought. It's in children. It's in the children's children. And when that ceases to be, all life ceases to have meaning. And that's the end of this beginning. And thank you for listening. And I could end this right now, and I probably should. I have trouble ending things because I end things, I come back for another, round of applause, and then I do another piece. It's a long day's journey into night for people like me. But we fill it with meaning, we think. And then when we realize there is no meaning in anything that we do, it's really a long day's journey into hell. I've been to hell and back. Have you? For 3 days now since we read about that English comedian who was arrested at Heathrow by the homo fascists of England. The homo fascists of England arrested a comedian for something he had tweeted while he was out of the country of hell. Armed guards arrested this comedian in England. I said, I've been there. I've been there. I wrote this book years ago called Banned in Britain. I'm the only member of the American media still unable to go to Britain. Banned in Britain by the homo fascists and now their Islamist friends. Of course, that's who was behind it then. Banned in Britain. I was going to talk about it and decided I don't want to relive it again. It was too much darkness, too much pain. I couldn't get out of that one no matter what I spent. I spent $400,000 on a British lawyer. Ugh. The government's so corrupt then. But I was the canary in the coal mine, someone said, you see. I was the canary in the coal mine. I was the first one banned in England. And who came to my aid here in America? Some in the media did, but some didn't. And you think that they're MAGA. And I'll name him because it's on record. Mark Levin. Mark Levin actually went on the air when I was banned in Britain and said I got what I deserved. And now he's a great MAGA person. Why? He's been rewarded by Donald Trump with some kind of position in the U.S. Justice Department. Hey, we should all be very frightened when a man like Mark Levin is inside the Justice Department. You should really not sleep well at night, in my opinion. Screams and yells at liberals on air. But when I was banned in Britain, he said, I got what I deserved. So who is he? Who is he? And is he alone in his ways? You mean everyone knows MAGA is golden? Everyone knows MAGA has a halo? Some of them are just as putrid as those on the left that we all hate. They are murderers of the soul. They are the killers of a nation in disguise. At least the left doesn't disguise their hatred for America. But the MAGAites, who are just like them, who would take away your freedoms, are worse than those on the left, as I have been trying to caution you all these years. If you like the vibe, please subscribe. It's time for me to go, Joe.